Okay, the recording thing is on. Go on, Owun, let you open. Why not?
Right. No, wait for take two.
Where's the theme song? Is that on post?
Post, yeah.
Post.
Dun, 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 dun,
Anyways, we're not that sophisticated, but anyways. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the What Topic podcast. I'm your host, Owen Burkett at owen.burkett.
And your other host, Josh Deakin at Mr. Josh Deakin.
And we got our third special guest, who is a model, actor, and soon-to-be filmmaker, Tyler Winchcome. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah, not doing too bad. You know,
Just sit there in.
Nice little intro's done.
just seeing like how everything's turning into shit, even in the winter season. So yeah.
Yeah,
got to do with what you can, can't you?
And we thought that the worst thing to worry about in winter is the snow normally.
No, but now it's like the tier system, and you know, obviously Portsmouth and Havant and Gosport are going to be in tier 3, and I'm smacked in the middle of it. So fun times. So
you basically feel like
how
Slough felt.
Raining.
What's that?
You said about the rain, yeah, and then I said,
oh yeah,
you feel like Slough being in the middle of like all the other tier 2s, just like the one tier 3 in the middle.
I know, it's like
tier 2 in the middle.
Forget the rain, like it's just not stuck in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's not even stopped raining, let alone snowing. To be honest, I mean, I've never known it to rain as much this time of year. Usually, it's too cold.
Normally, last time it snowed, it was about like February, March time, roughly.
It did try to snow last week, like very, very briefly, but the rain basically beat it to the punch.
Well, it's England we're talking about, so we typically get rain.
It'll be sunny next week. Yeah,
it's the funniest thing. Yesterday was actually a lot nicer than today has been. Like, and the day before yesterday was actually really nice as well. So, like, it's like, again, another sandwich moment where like there's a nice day between two nasty days sandwiched.
Yeah. Not
the bleakness of December for you. It's already dark and it's only 7 o'clock. Oh god.
I know, right? But anyways, let's lighten up the mood. So What we're going to talk about is a certain few subjects. So we're going to talk about the recent result of the electoral college in the US for the US election, and then we're going to talk about the amazing debut of the Cyberpunk 2077 video game.
Oh my god!
And
that's a very good caption.
And then also we'll give it to the floor to Tyler to talk about his experiences and just get like touch base on like, you know, what he is.
Basically, we're going to let Tyler talk about who he is and where he's from.
Yeah.
People want to be entertained. They don't want to hear that.
Normally it's actors who make it about themselves, but very, very much stand off on that one. So it's a very standoffish moment.
You know, that's what we want, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think finally, as you was going to say, Owen, we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah, Wonder Woman 1984, which is the new Warner Brothers / DC film that just came out after being delayed twice because of the pandemic. So I finally got to see it. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, so we'll start off with the first news topic. So I know you're probably a bit bored and tired that, you know, this is all something that we all knew, but it's official. Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States, and Trump will get his ass like.
I do feel like every week at the minute
January
that we do these episodes, I feel like we've got like a baseball bat and we're just beating that news horse so hard.
But it's a horse that just needs to keep beating until it just stops.
Keep eating that horse until it's over. Yeah, I mean we probably still continue to do this until the 20th of January. To be fair, so
I know, like, and until then, like, people are just like, okay, finally we can stop talking about it. So
it's gonna be literally bits all over the floor.
It's just like let's do I'm still breathing. Just his last breath.
We're gonna let the electoral college think that they're gonna get away with it for another few days.
The speed up. It's a fraud. It's rigged.
It's horse. It's completely rigged. It's rigged. It's got all the blue democraticness all over it.
What's the accent that you guys are doing? It sounds so familiar.
Yeah,
I know. It's like it rhymes with rump. Like
Trump. Legit. Like you just beat that horse to bits, and it's not even bleeding red; it's bleeding blue. Trump will probably think so.
Well, technically, we should be making it the Republican animal, so it should be the elephant that we're beating that down. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the donkey just went like next to it, like, like just walks in and be like, you dumbass or you jackass.
Oh
and
my
the
god!
Elephant's like, takes one to know one.
Wow, the levels of acting going on here from Mr. Owen Burkett. Oh my god!
Wow. Quote unquote acting.
Future Oscar winner there, mate.
Oh, she. So Joe's finally done it after 3 times he's been told that he's done it. He probably feels like he's going round that post constantly, like waiting for that moment to actually hear the electoral college go. You got it, son. You got it. You're in. Get in that White House.
What was that, John Wayne? Like, get on, son, get on your saddle.
That's it, yeah. Get on down. So, but yeah, as we spoke about before we got started, of course, Mike Pence is still trying to claim glory, even though his vice presidency is now pretty much at the end of its line.
Everyone's
very happy about that.
Everyone's job in the Trump administration is just pretty much over.
Yeah,
like, that's it.
And the thing is, he's still holding on to that glory because he's going to be doing a live vaccine injection on telly. And then apparently he's going to sod off to the Middle East. So whatever that says about you, I don't know.
This is Mike Pence.
Wow.
Yeah, so Mike Pence is basically going to be going to the Middle East and they're probably going to be probing into shit there, which is probably a good idea.
You might enjoy that.
Damn. I'm like,
one jab here.
Why? Of all places you could go to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like, you know what? Oh, I had a great injection. Tel Aviv, yeah?
It's like, well, it's kind of a bit late now because Joe Biden is going to do that, have a televised vaccine jab. So,
you know what? I think it's a good position to be in as a president going into into office in January. You've got to change the change the way that people are thinking right now, because obviously it's one thing to win, but it's another one to lead. And obviously with the amount of terrible things that Trump has done, and obviously the rest of his team, of course, he's got a big job to fix up. He's basically got to rebuild America the way that Trump didn't.
Yeah, massive. Like he's got a lot of shit to fix.
What about that wall? Do you reckon he'll end up getting it taken down?
Oh, do you know what? I want to see Miley Cyrus come with her wrecking ball and just go boosh.
What, riding the wrecking ball as it hits him?
I think we all want to see that. We all want to see that.
Could you imagine, like, it's like, I reckon, and then he's just sort of mangled on the wall.
And you see Trump there going, no, that's my beautiful world.
No.
And he just got Mike Pence just like watching from the Middle East going, shit.
Man.
And then you just see a plane going overhead, and you just remember that wall didn't stop the plane going across.
We didn't stop, and that whole wall thing was just a.
How come planes are still able to fly over the wall?
It's gonna be a big wall.
What I signed up for.
Big wall.
Why
the Mexicans pay for it? Oh god! I honestly, I don't know if they ever managed to get the Mexicans to even agree on any terms. Hello. Ooh.
Oh, a bit of a internet lag.
We've had a problem with Tyler's voice. What has happened? Oh, Tyler, are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. You kind of just paused for a moment. You just went, "What's with this?" and then you just paused and like as you did that.
Yeah, like everyone froze, and I was thinking, it's me, isn't it? Yeah, it's me. It's definitely me. With Biden, I've heard recently that Obama's turned his back on him, hasn't he, due to the allegations against Biden's son for
Hunter
not paying his
Biden.
tax.
I haven't heard anything about that one. So
You know more than I do on that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I started reading an article about it, and I'm not sure what's actually going on, but Trump seems to have turned his back on Biden after the allegations of Hunter not paying his taxes in his previous job. And I think that was obviously Trump's ammunition against him during the elections, was to bring it on his son to make him, because you saw how Biden reacted as soon as he started talking about his son during the speech. And I think they started to look into that, and Obama's not very happy. I'm not really sure as to how true that is, but
I mean, to be fair, it seems a little bit too late now to even have that problem, because he should really, whether he's got something up with him now, he's got to be behind him, because that's gonna allow Trump to get some ammunition even on the way out the door.
Yeah. Because even if he hears like any inkling that Obama has issues with Biden, he'll just keep boasting that up, and we can't
keep on
let
going. We can't let
Trump,
these guys in.
Yeah, we can't let Trump have any more like reasons to just keep yapping his fucking trap on. So
I mean, to be fair, I actually want to. I don't know whether I'm going to buy the book or I'm going to buy the Kindle version or whatever, or the audio version of it if there is one. But I would like to listen to The Promised Land, because that's a
and also the Michelle Obama's book, Becoming Michelle, I think that's been doing really well as well. So Obama's just doing really well for themselves. One of the daughters is becoming a filmmaker as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, good for her. So
what? At least
might drop her an email.
At least it's better than anything like one of Trump's daughters. Like obviously Ivanka. Obviously, not looking good for her. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen her on the new Spitting Image on BritBox, but yeah, they basically make her look like such a dipstick and like so unloved. It's hilarious.
Anyone in the Trump family is so unloved, and a bunch of, especially Eric Trump, is just a fucking idiot. But there you go. What do you expect?
Anything further than that.
They're either not loved or they're loved by the wrong ones. I remember we were talking about this before, Owen, weren't we? When they were at the Trump rally, and you had that comedian go around asking questions.
Oh, that was brilliant. Trevor Noah's The Daily Show.
I love that, how he was just going like, was it? They were talking about, so back in the 2016, like when Hillary Clinton and Trump were going head to head, they were like saying, they put like anti-Hillary t-shirts on them, and then they said like, so what do you think Trump is the more American thing? Respect our women. That's our American patriotic duty. And he goes, oh yeah. So what does it say on your t-shirt? Trump that bitch. And he went, wow. Don't see the level of irony in there.
On a real, really, like, do you ever see people like these days wearing t-shirts with swearing or any other profanity on really anymore? Like, I feel like that lasted for like a year maybe.
I don't know.
It's a mad one.
At festivals, yeah.
Yeah,
I would
definitely
people
say
who have
festivals.
like 2 middle fingers or something,
Yeah.
or
I
fuck
think I did.
it.
Yeah, I think I did see one person, actually a girl, who walked in Portsmouth during the summer and wore a t-shirt saying fuck the patriarchy or something like that.
Oh god, yeah.
And I thought, okay,
damn.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling like those t-shirts like came and went so quickly because like people weren't comfortable wearing them when kids could see them, probably. So
well,
could be that.
Yeah.
I think it's setting a better example than just having a sexist, like racist, like t-shirt. Like I remember one during somewhere in the pandemic, like because in America, one person put the swastika on the mask, and they were like saying, America's turning into a fascist state, because they were implementing mask wearing and social distancing, controlling the government controlling people. So they
isn't he kind of a fascist wearing a swastika on the mask?
But I was like, but that's the thing. It's like America was fighting. That's what America was fighting against fascism, especially Nazis, like Nazism. So for you to wear that is not really saying Germany, America's turning into like a Nazi Germany, like sort of fascist state. It's nothing like that at all.
They're trying to, they're basically trying to say that like the Amazon Prime show, like The Man in the High Castle, happened in America, but it hasn't. It just hasn't.
Yeah, no, like I don't know. These people are freaking idiots. So.
Oh yeah, we've already worked out now that there's an expression for people who look after Trump's, like that literally like lap up everything he says. It's Trumpism, isn't it? Like Blairism. You know.
Trump.
Yeah.
What is it when you're against the Naziist? what are you?
No. I think if you're against a Nazi, just normal.
No, just
normal.
Maybe not normal, but maybe what's the word? Sane.
Oh, not even that. Like I'm
sane.
I'm human. Like,
I'm human, and I'm sane. What is it, guys? You gave something a name called Trumpism. Oh my god, that's amazing. Totally cool.
Yeah, got these neo-Nazis saying, "Oh, dude, you're such a human. You're so sane, man."
Yeah, you're so sane, man. Thanks.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Making my ego feel brilliant today.
Can I take that as an insult or a compliment?
From a Nazi, I'll take that. Thank you so much.
I'll take that to the top, boys.
It's so passive aggressive. I don't know how to take it.
Oh, hello. Oh yeah, that's a pretty mad ones, all right. So,
anyways, so we'll move on for that. So
move on from the bleakness there.
Congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be the next president and vice president in the White House. Thank God. And so now next up in the news is Jesus. So Cyberpunk 2077.
Jesus, we're talking about him still.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jesus, my Lord and Savior.
It's one of them kind of shows.
Jeepers.
Jesus and Friends.
Jesus.
That sounds like something Netflix would make. Jesus.
What was it? How does it go? It's like hello, my believers, or something like that. So,
yo, what's up, YouTube? Here's my believers. Hello, my believers. I believe that another guy called.
Wow, are you making an amen?
Let's leave the roof up for this video.
Let's lift the roof to heaven, people. Come on. Woo.
Hashtag amen the savior. Oh, something like that. My God. Anyways,
you saying cyberpunk?
Back to business.
So we're going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Oh my God. Okay.
Too early, man.
I know. It's too late to talk about this shit.
Too soon.
So it came out on the 10th of December after being delayed for the past 8 to 7 years, like when it got first announced. So for those of you who don't know, it's based on a tabletop board game, and it's developed by CG Projekt Red, who also made the Witcher video game series,
which I might add they created in the same time within the same time frame that they were heavily developing on Cyberpunk. So
yes,
which makes you surprised a little bit.
I don't. It's just baffling. So basically, for those who don't know, it was after being delayed and delays that it finally came out on 10th of December. So reviews for the PC version started to come out, and there were good reviews across the board. Like they went slight bugs and issues, but you know what? It's a really fantastic game. It's like the world of Cyberpunk is great. The characters, the story, and everything. It's just what we expected. So I was like, I'm pretty sure Tyler can, be the same way I was. I was like, oh wow, this is going to be amazing. Yeah. So I got I got a copy on the PS4, and he and Tyler followed suit. We started playing it, and I'm going to let Tyler speak for himself for his personal experience.
Okay, so first things first, Owun, man, like you got the game first, and I was adamant that I was going to wait till I got the PS5 until I got any more games.
Yeah,
and Owen's talking about getting Cyberpunk like midnight release. He's talking about, and I'm like, man, I can't be behind on this. So stupid me went the next night to go and get Cyberpunk, and biggest mistake of my life. Got home, downloaded it, 109 gigs later. Was it 109?
it's like 109 gig. Like it's 2 discs on the PlayStation 4. So to load it and then play the game, and then you have to update it.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
it's
And then another 17 gig update on top of that.
Recently, yeah.
And yeah, it's within the first 2 minutes, bug central. You can see why they call it cyberbug. It is the buggiest, glitchiest game I've ever played in my life. And it felt like what I was running could have been run on a PS2. It was awful.
Yeah, I haven't come across personally with a few issues. I mean, I've seen a few issues, but it wasn't like anything to, I guess, to worry about. But as soon as I started seeing like people making compilations of the many bugs that they were coming across, it was ridiculous. I was like,
the one that I saw the most was somebody like you was interacting with a guy in a chair, and he literally like glitches through the chair and stands up.
Tyler spoke about that. It was, oh man!
Honestly, there was a guy typing. The ATM was behind him, but he was near the road, typing on the road. And you have constant traffic waiting at no traffic. There's no traffic lights in the city, and they'll be driving and just waiting. You hear the guy behind him beeping. What are you waiting for? And this guy is just sat there in his car, spinning around in his seat. Like watching this guy around like that, I'm like, wow. And I
don't get how Sony and Microsoft feel like that people won't, that they can get away with not giving people a refund. You know.
Well, funny you say that. So yeah, so Cyberpunk released a little statement soon after. Obviously, so this is what they said. So first of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to make it play better on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Second, we will fix bugs and crashes, improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever the new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch number 1 in January. This will be followed by patch number 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on a high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience that it is now. Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you would give us a chance, but if you're not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system on PSN or Xbox respectively. For box versions, please try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at the email address that they provided, and we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until the December 21st, 2020. P.S. PC gamers will also be getting regular updates and fixes improving the game. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I put my game on the shelf because it's just clearly not playable.
I can sort of see where it possibly is on that far shelf there.
Yeah,
is it the yellow one?
I think I can see the yellow, yeah.
It's just there.
Wow.
Yeah, just there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, those are like not anything to do with my collection, so no. But yeah,
the thing is, I don't think I'll ever get a refund. I think you've got to give these gaming companies a chance. And if No Man's Sky is anything to go by, they were a terrible game when they made so many promises that they never held to. And you play it now, it's a totally different game. And I think these guys are going to pull it out of the woodwork.
I could say the same about the Outer Worlds on Switch. It's had so many problems on the Switch, and I haven't played it since because I just can't play it because I look at the floor and the textures are so gross, unbelievably gross. Like they said that the game was going to be graphically spec'd with the Switch, so that meant that it was going to be as good as you could probably get on the Switch, and I don't think it's anywhere near that point right now. So like I am not touching that game for the moment still, but. I tried to look earlier to see if it had changed because I heard that there was a patch. Apparently, the patch hasn't come out yet. It was just a 5 gig patch for nothing that they released recently, as far as I'm aware. So then I decided I ain't dealing with this game. I'm putting it back on the shelf again. And I got my game of LA Noire out from Rockstar, the guys who like to make really, really good games that are really good on consoles. And I've just bought a brand new Samsung TV with a feature that you don't get on very many HD 1080p TVs. It's more on 4K tellies. HDR, high dynamic range. And the minute I start to load up LA Noire, my console goes to me, would you like to play it in high definition? And I'm like, boys, we're doing this.
You really have to ask.
Yes, please.
Oh my God, my telly, like the game loaded, the telly flickered, and I checked the info bit for the HDMI port. HDR was enabled there. I was like, here we go. Loaded it up, and oh my God, the surfaces, it's not ray trace or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. And it's just a standard PS4. It's not the Pro or PS5 or anything like that. But fuck me, it was unbelievably pretty. And that just shows you when a company gets it right, not like Obsidian gets it wrong, obviously, and CD Projekt Red. So like these games like need to get these things right, because like, Eleanor was, I think, delayed twice as well, weren't it? Like GTA.
It was with another developer, and because I remember seeing the teaser trailer for it, and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, and then something happened, and then Rockstar took over from it, and then developed their version of the game, which we now see that was released on the PS3 and the console before the PS4 and Xbox One.
Bondi? Was it?
Was it
I
Bondi?
think it was Bondi.
I think it was Bondi.
Yeah.
I think they became part of Take-Two Interactive in the end, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah. So, Rockstar bought them, and they just developed an entirely different sort of experience. Still the same setting, like 1930s or 40s, but just different sort of game mechanics, as it were.
And a game like that that's old-fashioned is a much more beautiful spec'd game and looking game. And I mean, I don't think that CD Projekt Red should really be like treated as such as like the small company or anything like that. They made The Witcher. They made a game that actually runs pretty well on a Nintendo Switch. So for the game to look absolutely garbage, if I'm going to use my American terms, garbage, absolute garbage, that the fact that the Switch version of The Outer Worlds looks just as bad as the version of Cyberpunk on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One looks. Like, how does that translate?
I was speaking to Tyler, because obviously this game was developed as the PS5, the PS4 and the Xbox One just came out. And for them to not give it the same treatment as they did with the PC and even the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S versions, it's like, what was the decision behind that? And you got even games that came out this year, like The Last of Us Part 2, that had little to no bugs at all. Like if there were bugs, I didn't see any, or could even notice it. So, to say that CD Projekt Red was like saying, "Oh, we had to deal with it with the coronavirus and everything," I'm like, that's just bullshit. It's just
the problem is
bad management.
The problem is, I think when they said that they were going to delay it till to November or December, sorry, even that was the time for them to start crunching properly. And like, I have the biggest sympathy for their staff, because I have heard that there's been problems inside of the company. People working on the games have been working day and night to do it. The problem is, though, it's no good working day and night if you're basically like treat your employees like they're slaves to the game, and that's not going to get a finished product looking the way it does. You're not. If you beat a horse, it ain't going to want to love you. It ain't going to want to let you ride it. It's going to want to kick you in the backside. You know what I mean? It's going to want to kick you in the head. And that's not a pretty sight, let's be frank.
No, not at all.
So for that reason, the game isn't. I mean, I can kind of understand why the game isn't great on PS4 and Xbox One. The best place to play the game right now, apparently, is Stadia.
I know it's running.
What the hell?
It's actually running really well on Stadia, and I'm like,
wow,
where's the fucking priorities here? Like CD Projekt Red, get your shit together. Fucking hell.
IGN have released 2 reviews on the game, haven't they?
Oh, okay.
3 actually. They released a PC version which they couldn't have their own gameplay on because it was copyright issues.
That's
and
right.
then they released one with their own footage. And the PC version they said was amazing. Like the RPG values that it had was incredible. The fact that you could change everything in the storyline by one line of dialogue. And the guy who completed it, he'd completed it 6 different times.
Oh my god!
So he'd had six different endings, and he was still going through it another. And he also reviewed the PS4 version, and he had nothing but negative to say about it. There was no positive whatsoever. I think
imagine
he got it
they'll
out.
re-review
The
it.
fact that it was, yeah. I think the fact that he got it out, it was an amazing game through PC. He didn't really feel the need to justify the PS4 and what they've done to that game.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 30-second thing that just goes, "Don't play it until we review it later," and it's
so on the Metacritic score. So the PC version is like 89 out of 100.
That's good.
And both the PS4 and the Xbox One versions are like 50 out of 100.
I was surprised that they're even 50. I was expecting more like in the 20s or the 10s.
I know, but they all pretty much said like it's not it's not the fault. Well, it's not like the character. It's like the world building and the characters and everything. That's
the game itself works. It's the quality of
it's the quality. Yeah, and it's just like the fact that they even suggested like you either wait for the PS5 or the Xbox Series X version and just wait for it to play on that, because I've seen footage of like playing on the PS5 and it looks amazing. Like it obviously it would never be up to the quality of the PC because PC's always been the better standard of it, but it will be as closer to the experience that we should have got since day one. And the fact that they didn't do that with the same on the base console versions of the Xbox One and the PS4 it's ridiculous.
It's an absolute shit show.
I think the reason why they probably gave it a 50% is because they know what the game's capable of, and it would be unfair to not give it at least a 50 because they know the storyline's amazing. They claim that the voiceovers are impeccable, but that was one of the problems with it. I mean, that wasn't even part of the bugs. I didn't enjoy the voiceovers one bit. Keanu Reeves, I love Keanu Reeves, but his voiceover was so
that's the consistent thing. Like they've said like everyone else is actually pretty good. Everyone else is actually pretty good, but then when you get to Keanu Reeves, it's just like a plank of wood. It's so dull.
Tacky as hell.
And it's a shame because obviously Keanu Reeves is never going to win or get even nominated for an Oscar, but he's entertaining enough to get invested in what he's doing, especially with the John Wick films that I'm sure
I saw a meme where it shows before Keanu Reeves in a photo like taken at like some like professional event or something, and then after the PlayStation 4 version of him. Just absolutely like crushed. His face literally looks like it might as well just be a piece of cement.
It's so funny because I sent it's just like that.
Hello, this is
flying
me.
around.
I am no longer Keanu Reeves. I'm the box.
That literally happens in the game so much. I mean, when I first got the game, I was hoping for flying cars. I was hoping it was going to be that sort of futuristic game, and I was like, I drove over a bridge, and I was like, oh, it's a flying car, brilliant. And I was like, I haven't seen one for about 20 minutes now. Okay, I'll see one in a minute. And I saw another one fly through the bridge and up for a building. It was a glitch. It was just some random car flying through the map.
Yeah, I saw something similar. Like that seemed to be a similar problem. So one video where a guy was walking the street and about to cross the road, but he sees something in the air, and I was like looking at it going, the hell was that? And as it got closer, it was just a car like spinning over and then crash landed next to him. And then the second video was a car like going up a hill, and obviously he was going really fast. And then somehow, like as it was getting up to the end of the hill, he just went thousands of miles in the air. And
oh my god!
So yeah. So
I'm not gonna... hot garbage right now, basically, on anything that's not new gen.
Anything that's not like the current gen and the PC version it's just not playable in any other version.
The thing is with no giving away any spoilers or anything, but there are parts of the game right. So when me and Owen like sort of quit at the same point when you went through the montage at the beginning, as soon as the game opens, and we're like, okay, we're just going to give up until the patch comes on. But I was like, okay, hopefully the bugs sort of simmer down after that once the game's settled down in your PS4. So I was hoping. And there are parts in it where it really grips you and pulls you in, and then a glitch happens, and it totally ruins it.
It's like
and
it's
I'm thinking, if I
literally
keep
like
playing
you're playing. It's like those funny videos you see of people playing VR, and like they don't realize that they don't realize that the thing they're seeing is not where they are, and they end up like punching something, and they're like, I've just punched the wall. Like you get pulled out of the experience. That's what a glitch and a bug does to you, doesn't it? It's like it pulls you out.
It's
talking about like things. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was just going to say, like, I've actually had a bit where I played on a VR at my friend's place, and and it was super hot. It wasn't bad anything, but it did feel like a little bit like took you out of the moment where I was like kind of walking, and I kind of just like. I didn't trip over, no accidents, like for you, like, oh damn. I just tapped in front of the coffee table. I went, oh shit, okay, and it just kind of took me out of it because in my screen there's a whole sort of plane that I could just technically walk around. So it's a little bit like out of immersive experience, like, oh my god, there's so much to walk on, and you just go, oh no, I can't.
Coffee table.
Coffee table, yeah.
They're saying about, so we're talking about the like glitches that take you out of the immersive experience. Endgame, the ending of Endgame is perfect, isn't it? It it has you crying, it has you excited, it has you laughing at points. And then some asshole, hopefully they're watching this video, they listen to this podcast, put a video up showing that Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, as he's getting to the, so he's flying to the van with the Wasp, during the big battle. So he shrinks down, gets into the van, and then a second scene comes up, showing the whole battlefield, and Ant-Man is full size, again, fighting in the background, taking down one of the massive flying ships. And I'm like, wow, how the hell did they oversee that?
Oh,
now I've seen it totally kills the experience. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's terrible.
Like continuity issues. It's just it could be horrible. Like once you see it, it's like, oh god damn it! Like
it's
I bear watching it now. You guys know.
It's that experience. Like for me, like I didn't get to watch it in the cinema at Endgame because time constraints, wasn't able to get to the cinema in time. It was a bit of a repeating theme with all the Avengers movies. I ended up only seeing the Avengers movies on a TV at home. But you know what? Some people, I get for some movies, it's the experience of going to see it. But for me, I was watching the movie on a really decent TV, not the one that I've now got, the nice new one I've got right now, but on a decent enough telly that was giving me the nice rich colours that I was happy for. And honestly, like a game normally grips you, like depending on what the storyline is. But like with Endgame, like you didn't realise the hours that went by, and that's what keeps you in the game. But then when you have, like you say, continuity issues or bugs and stuff like with a game, like those little things just ruin it for you. It doesn't matter how good something looks or how good some storyline is. It's those little things, those little niggles that like just pinch you and go, you're not in that right now. You're not there. You're not playing this person. You're part of the moment, but you're not in the moment because it's been ruined. So it's the thing that Cyberpunk needs to get fixed. CD Projekt Red, I mean, I'm sure they're probably working around the clock right now to get the fix sorted out for it. I know they're supposed to.
Hope so.
I should hope. They said that they're not going to release another patch now until January, right?
Yeah, I think they just released the recent patch that they talked about, and then so we're not going to get another big patch on January, which is probably going to add more gigabytes onto the game, and then more gigabytes in February. So
you think it would? You'd think that it would equate out a bit, or kind of like level out a little bit in terms of how much it takes up, because you look at something like an iOS update. You sometimes end up getting space back on your phone because they know how to manage the space better. And I don't know why. It's like you got games like Warzone and obviously the new Call of Duty Cold War, which are like going to completely fill up your PlayStation 5 in like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's that kind of like annoyance that you just have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, anyways, I think to sum it all up, I think CD Projekt Red just needs to get like that act together.
You need to get their A game together and also treat their employees properly.
And just give the proper treatment that the people that, because obviously that's the other thing is like, people say we recommend you play it on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Well, nobody can get it right now.
No,
like
that's stock
because all the scalpers have got it. Like that's the thing. Like I think you, Tyler, were trying to plan on getting it on when it came out, and then just couldn't.
Yeah, apparently
I couldn't find it anywhere. I was looking on Curry's on game website, and they were saying that they were trying their best to try and get hold of stock, which apparently this week they have managed to get some, but I've not seen anywhere that I can even still get one. I think they literally sold out.
I think
because I saw a queue outside PC World in Portsmouth, and
really?
I think they were on their way to get PS5, and some guy cut me up on a bicycle holding a PlayStation 5, signaling me to turn in front of me. I was like, wow, this guy's ass going to get knocked over.
Jesus. Honestly, like I heard recently, obviously the UK government are now going to start pursuing the potential legality of making it illegal to scalp in the UK now as well, which I think is brilliant, because I haven't seen any other country do it yet. And like, I mean, not to brag or anything, but we've just got the first vaccine for coronavirus, and now we're going to try and fix another problem that's plagued this year, scalping. Like, come on, I think our country could actually actually is deserving of a little bit of a medal at the minute for that. Let's be frank.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a bit of an odd priority to go from like having a vaccine of this deadly pandemic to like making sure a bunch of gamers get a bunch of consoles.
I mean, to be fair, obviously it's the reason why the government keeps ticking, because there's obviously more than one department looking at everything.
Yeah,
obviously.
No,
so that helps.
It's definitely something that needs to be like, needs to be resolved, because it's just not fair for everyone. Everyone's having a shit year, and at the very least that people want to treat their children or even themselves to a brand new console that everyone should be able to have access to, but they just don't.
I think the best way to round up that the whole situation, and for this part of the episode, is probably to say that the scalpers are trying to make excuses by saying that they're actually helping their families out by doing the scalping. And I'm just like, yeah, I could go and rob a bank and say I'm helping my family with that, but you know what? I don't think they're going to believe me. So it's a shit argument. Just don't bother. Don't bother.
Excuse.
Get a job like everybody else, mate.
Well, I was just going to say, like, for the most part of the year, I've been technically unemployed until I just got a job on a TV series. Thank God. So yeah, man. But could be worse. So
CD Projekt Red, please have some progress that we can talk absolutely wonders about.
I think by the time the update comes out, I'm probably going to get a PS5 by that point. So
and I think I'll always keep the day one edition as well. It's quite good to have the day one edition, and plus I do believe that they are going to turn it around. So for me to get a refund is kind of like doubting them, and I really reckon they will turn it around.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure that the PS4 version, you just pop it in the PS5 and it's the PS5 version, right? I'm sure that's how it
so
works.
you do. So any PS4 games will get a I don't know if all, but the vast majority of games on the PS4 will get a free upgrade on the PS5. So I know God of War, The Last of Us Part 2, and pretty much all the recent games for the past 5 or so years will get a free upgrade.
Because I wasn't sure if there was an actual PS5 release copy for the game.
So that's not going to be until sometime next year. I don't know exactly when, but
which makes you more suspicious of the fact that you're running the only release copy that's available, and it's messed up.
It's a bit odd. It's a bit odd, but what can you do? So,
but yeah, thank you very much for joining us for this first part. We'll be back shortly with the next part to talk about Wonder Woman and other awesome topics. But stay tuned for the next part.
See you then.
Hello and welcome back to the second part of this episode of What Topic. So now we're going to jump into a topic that is, I think everyone can resonate with and understand. And obviously, we know that this year has been an absolute shit show when it comes to coronavirus and, trying to get industries like, filming, getting it back together. We hear this week, of course, about Tom Cruise absolutely going ham on two employees that were standing next to each other when they were looking at a piece of footage. And let's just say it didn't stay inside the studio. It didn't. It got leaked out by the Sun. And I don't think it's split in opinion, because I think everyone's on Tom Cruise's side in the fact that, like, if you're going to be on a crew, if you're going to be on a set trying to get all this stuff done and socially distancing and stuff, you're going to cause more problems. It's just going to shut down the industry even more, right?
Yeah, well, they've delayed it already back in when they were shooting in Italy, like in October, I think. And obviously, delaying a film and then shutting down a production, it's just costs money. So, and it's like the worst example is Robert Pattinson caught coronavirus, and he's the lead of the Batman. So so they had to they probably could shoot around it, but there's only so much you could do when your lead actor is they can't show up to work and has to self-isolate for about 7 or 14 days. So for people to not even follow COVID guidelines just to make sure that they can finish it, here's the problem: like they're shooting 2 films back to back, and they need to finish it on time. Like they can probably deal with maybe one delay, but to have another delay and so on and so forth, it's just not ideal. And
not ideal, no.
And the fact is that they're trying to show people that even during a pandemic they can make a film as safely as possible.
Yeah, and it's the case in point that, like, silly little things like just standing next to someone else, you just can't do that at the minute. And if there's one thing that I can take from the knowledge I know about how the sets are like with these movies and everything, I know somebody who actually works on a lot of the Mission Impossible movies. He's an Instagrammer himself. You know who he is, of course. Owun, he's obviously Chris Frith.
Chris Frith, yes, I know him. Yeah,
I don't know whether he's on the current one, the new Mission Impossible 7 or not.
He's involved. He flew with Simon Pegg back to London. So
nice.
He's definitely involved.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd agree with me when he obviously what he told me before. Like he's saying like that when Tom Cruise is on set, like everybody like treats him just like anybody else would treat him. Like it's not a situation that like everyone literally goes, "Oh my god, he's on set." Shit, he's on set and like everybody knows what they're doing. Like they're trying to make the best experience possible, and the fact that he has to come on set and absolutely like explode on two staff members not doing their job properly just tells you how much he really wants to do it properly. And that's not even just a case of doing the movie properly, it's a case of doing safety properly, because the example of what's happening there is the example of what will happen when theatres are trying to reopen in the new year, which is still not even possible probably at the minute. Like I know some theatres are going to try and get productions out in the spring, but that's just a pipe dream at the minute still.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's just it's so frustrating because it's such an easy thing to do. Just follow the guidelines, wear a mask, socially distance, stay within the bubbles. So obviously people in various bubbles can stay in their areas, so obviously it doesn't spread and etc. And for these people, from the sounds of it, like this isn't the first time he has to tell people off to follow the rules. And you know what? I've said it, and I'm pretty sure everyone else here shares the same view. Swearing aside, I totally agree with Tom Cruise is saying. The fact that people are looking out for these people to do their jobs, and if they have to delay a film or shut production down, the people that are paid the millions, like the directors, producers, and so on, the higher ups, basically, they can deal with not being, having to work.
Yeah, they can weather the storm.
However, but for the people like the runners, the gaffers, the sparks, and the grips, and everyone else, and even the extras, like they don't get paid for the days they don't work. They only get paid for the days they are working. And even he made mention of that, saying that it's not going to put food on their tables if they don't get paid for this. And they've waited long enough for
stupidity and just downright like no care for the role for the role that they're playing in this.
And and it just frustrates me when, it just seems like a very similar thing that, you got these people saying that COVID hoaxes and everything. And I got, friends and friends of friends, or even friends, family members who caught COVID and suffered through it and died from it. So for these people to be on set and think they can just do whatever the fuck they want, no, it's totally reckless. And it's just like, even if you think like it's, you don't believe in it, or you think wearing a mask is whatever is not ideal for you, then tough shit. Like, if you want to work somewhere, follow the rules. Otherwise, you're going to get not just Tom Cruise, but anyone other production, and probably me, myself, if I was in charge, I would say, right, you can fuck off. Like, I just cannot afford. The thing is, you just cannot afford to shut a production down, because you're relying on to try to make it in time, to keep it on budget, and also make sure people get paid on the days, because they don't have a furlough scheme for everyone.
No.
You don't get paid on the days you don't work. So yeah, there's so many things that it just, when I heard about it, and then the more I thought about it over and over again, it just made me feel like, if I had to delay my short film because of some idiots just couldn't keep within their own bubble, I'd be pretty pissed off, because then it's like, then I have to they have to reorganize and try to get actors and crew members to reschedule, because it's just hassle when all you have to do is just do what you have to do.
I'm right in thinking that Tom has a top role. Sorry, Tyler. I was just going to quickly say that I'm sure that I'm thinking this right, that Tom Cruise has an upper role in the film. He's not just the actor in the film; he's a director as well, right?
He's a producer.
Excuse me, yes. So, I mean, he's got every right to be. I mean, maybe not effing and blinded, but to be honest, I think everyone in his situation would probably F and blind.
I probably would. Like the fact that's like, from
the sounds of it, home.
Yeah, well, the fact that the fact is, like, he probably went up, say, hey guys, I understand that it's a little bit hard to readjust or anything like that. Just keep it, social distance, wear a mask, and
keep your COVID safe.
And then they must have done it again, and he just went, for fuck's sake. Like, it wasn't like free warnings or whatever. Like, I've told you once.
It was more than free, to be honest. The way he went off on them, it was like they've been doing it all day, and it got to half day, and he's like, okay, I've got enough on my plate. I'm producing. I'm acting in this. I'm trying to focus on keeping, because he does his own stunts. He has stuntmen performing to the highest of their abilities on his film, so he's got to worry about those. He's got to worry about a load of paperwork and other people's lives at risk for the films that he makes. So I can totally understand why he would go off the way he did. And not only is he saving his own film, it seems like he's trying to save the movie industry, because if he can prove he can make this film, then it proves that other films can make. I mean, he only makes blockbusters.
Yeah.
If he can make a big blockbuster safely and have no COVID cases, then anyone in the movie industry can, and then we can start to continue with the way that we're working. And
you got to set a standard.
Yeah, exactly. And I told Owun the other day, like, being in the building industry myself, I've managed oversights, and when people are constantly going against what you're saying and trying to fuck you over in a sense, it just looks badly on you, and it puts a lot more weight on your shoulder, because you're not only having to make sure this job meets the deadline, you're also worrying that they could hurt themselves. And, not only does that incur a lot of fees and yourself losing your job, but that puts a lot of stress on your mind as well. And I can totally understand why he went.
Well, you just feel like a whole responsibility that, like, could you imagine, like, you're trying to run a production, and then, it's all well and good that you get other people get paid, but those who like even independent productions that are working on these productions either for free or very little pay at all, but then we have to stop because someone got COVID. So it's just, we're trying to find avenues, and like Josh said, like, trying to find a standard, so if this happens again, then we know what to do next time. And if a bunch of people can't even just do the most simplest things, then it's almost kind of like, what's the point? So
I mean, we don't know who the source was that leaked it to the Sun, the audio recording, but I have to say, if it wasn't for the fact that the matter that it was recorded, I don't think it would chime as heavily as it has, because you've got those two people that basically he's just said to them, if you don't do as I say, you might as well just fuck off because you're not going to have a job anymore. And the thing is, when I heard that, I was like, well, exactly, that would be exactly the way I do it in my workplace. If I was not doing as I was told, I'd expect to be walking out that door the next day, because it's not the case that you're doing something that's going to impact one person's job. It's going to impact more than just the job. It's going to impact their livelihood. It could put one of their family members in the hospital. It's the reason why this pandemic has been so bad. It's because it doesn't just go between 1 and 2 people like the cold or the flu, and then maybe gets up to like 5 people and it just dies off because someone stays indoors and gets better and doesn't go and transmit it. It's the case that like you go from 1 person to 2 people to 10 people, 100 people. It's the reason why there's X amount of number per 100,000, because of the way it trickles down the system. And you just think COVID can literally jump through that many hosts. A whole crew could be, they could all be asymptomatic, or maybe 2 or 3 of them had cases. It doesn't matter if there's 1 or 2 or 3. It will shut the production down, as you say, guys, and it will just cost the studio that much money that they're going to have to start making cuts where people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to be basically put on the ends of their means where their family just can't survive. And you just think it's okay for the top people because they can afford to take that hit. But then that should not be the standard for the people down below, because people like yourselves, guys, who you do like, extra roles, maybe you do a little bit higher than that sometimes if you're lucky. If you guys basically got turned around and said, someone's been careless and got COVID, you're off the job, you're getting no money for it. And you're just like, what the fuck? I put my effort in to do everything I'm doing, and I'm being safe as well. Why should everything that I've done right be scrubbed in the mud?
Why should I pay the consequences of someone's fuck up, basically?
Yeah. And that's the problem with trying to build a film and build also a reputation that the industry can start to reboot itself. If you're constantly having people not listening, I mean, it's the people who put the mask below their nose. Do they not even realize that all the particles are coming out your nose?
Oh my God, that pisses me off. Like just walking down the street or in a supermarket.
New South Park episode, and he goes, what are you guys doing? It looks like a chin diaper. And like
that's it.
This guy delivers an Amazon package to Randy's house. And then he goes, excuse me, sir, can you make sure you're wearing a chin diaper before I give you your package? Oh, yeah, sure. And he puts it around his chin. He goes, thank you. There you go. Stay safe now.
Wow, I don't want to I don't want to wear a diaper on my mouth.
It just goes to show that like it's really not that difficult. Like make the effort to like for me, make the effort to wear the right garment. If it's not comfortable, buy something that is comfortable, because my mask is so comfortable now that like I got a little slit in it, so I can put a little sleeve, you could say, so I can put a filter in there, and even with the filter in there, it actually is very nice and snug. So like even if I feel like a bit claustrophobic because it's like a hot day or something like that, or it's hot because I've gone on the train or on the tube in London, like I just give it a little bit of a shimmy and I'm fine. Like if you don't have anything wrong with the mask while it's on your face, why are you complaining about it, and why are you not making the difference of being close to somebody a problem?
Well, there was a story
I think they're pretty comfortable. I mean, I've got to wear them all day, every day with the job I'm doing at the moment, and you don't even notice. It's when you feel you have to talk about it, you notice it. But when you're just getting by your business and you're focusing on the day, you just forget. Usually I have it around my chin like that, and I completely forget it's there. I'll just be walking. I'm like, oh shit, I've got it around my chin.
Yeah.
You don't notice unless
the
you're
only time
one of those assholes.
It's a bit annoying about it. The only time it's a bit annoying is like when I wanted to take it off just for a few minutes just to get a bit of fresh air, and then I'm going to catch the buzz, and like all of a sudden there's a bit of a rush to get to the buzz, as always. Doesn't matter whether it's COVID or not at the minute, it seems. Like I'm like, okay, crap, put the mask on my ears. Oh, it's falling off my face. Okay, got to open my phone. Oh crap, I've got to put my passcode in instead of Face ID. So annoying. Get my Buzz Pass app open, show the driver, and I'm just like, annoyed.
Yeah. No, I'm that's what I'm not looking forward to when I get a new iPhone. It's like the fact that they got Face ID. I went, oh shit.
I mean, to be honest, it don't mind me too much. Like I have an Apple Watch as well, so I can technically like click the side button and use my Apple Pay, but like I have a Buzz Pass on my phone, so like swiping to like tap my passcode in like is a little annoying, don't get me wrong, but you know what, it's a sacrifice for my safety. It's not
it's temporary.
It's temporary.
Yeah, it's good. It's like obviously this it's eventually going to blow over, and the only way that it's going to blow over is if we do the just wear a mask, socially distance, and all of that, and then eventually and obviously take the vaccine if you're going to take the vaccine, which I will be.
Me too.
But yeah, it's so yeah. I totally agree with I totally understand that where Tom Cruise is going, because apparently he is such a friendly person. So for you
Yeah,
to piss him off, it takes a lot. So he's taking it so seriously, and rightly so, because ideally they want to keep it on time to release the films as they should be, and on budget. Because if they have to go over budget because they have to delay it or whatever, or shut the production down, then that's just going to be more stress over Tom Cruise's shoulders. So
exactly.
I
It's
wouldn't
just
want to
going
be
to
in his
cause
shoes.
unneeded stress. And for someone like him, he probably would try and help out the people that get damned by the thing that's going on at the minute. But you wouldn't expect that all the time. You know, it's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Basically, the overall message is just don't be a dick, wear a mask, be responsible,
and socially distance. Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you motherfuckers.
going from a bleaker situation to a better situation where a film has finally actually made it to the cinemas. Depending on where you are in the UK, you can watch it potentially in the cinemas. Of course, is the new Wonder Woman, guys. So take the floor. What do you think of it then? Let us know.
So yeah, I you know what, I kind of actually really enjoyed it. The more I thought about it, I dug it. I mean, it's not as good as the first Wonder Woman. I would definitely say that for sure. But I think what Patty Jenkins has done is, it's very much reminiscent to the superhero films of the yesteryear, like Superman, Superman the movie back in the 1970s, and that sort of thing. It's got that very sort of classic sort of style in how I saw it. There's certain aspects of the story and the plot it's a bit kind of sort of, I wouldn't say all over the place, but it can get a bit okay, so this happens and this happens or whatever. I really dug the villain, Kristen Wiig as Barbara and the cheetah. And I thought the effects to make her as the cheetah was really neat. But yeah, I think it's a solid DC movie. So what do you think, Tyler?
I do, as you say, sorry. I do dig the retro effect of the whole film. I really like that part of it. The only thing I didn't like was the action scenes. I felt they could have been choreographed a lot better, and the effects weren't as great as the first film. Especially when she used her whip, she picked guys up. As I said before, they didn't have a ragdoll effect of being thrown around. They literally just got picked up from one place and moved to the other. And honestly, it was parts like that kind of took me out of the magic. But the whole film was pretty decent. It kept me captivated throughout. And brilliant film. I especially enjoyed the beginning part when...
me too.
About the movie, going by the spoilers, but I really did enjoy the beginning of the film. And to see a certain someone in the film was quite enjoyable as well.
Are you talking about where near the end? Right, got it. For those who didn't hear, for those who we've just lip syncing what happened. So so the only thing I would say is there is a mid-credit sequence, so stick around for that. But there's nothing at the post-credits. It's not like Marvel. Well, DC did that for the earlier films, but they kind of stopped doing that. So
have they actually stopped doing that?
I stayed around for that one, but I didn't stay around.
Funny enough, we got told by one of the staff members who was walking us to our seats saying there's no post-credit after credit sequence.
Oh, that's nice. So, at least they let you know so you don't hang about.
Yeah, it's just funny, kind of got off subject a little bit, but it's every time I go to see an MCU movie, I always see people going up and leaving. I'm like, guys, have you not watched enough? there's still a scene like to what? All right, fuck you. All right, go ahead.
It's like you see him getting up at Endgame at the end of it or something. You're just like, wait, you've gotten to this point and not realised that any of the Marvel films have a post-credit sequence.
That's it.
I get the feeling that they've stopped doing it because Stan Lee's now passed. I think it was like a Stan Lee thing.
No, they're still doing it. It's
okay.
Yeah, they're still doing it. So
I wonder what Black Widow
I think it's solidified that is, but the fact that DC have started to do it mid credit sequence, have they taken that away from Marvel, or is that just a?
I think that it's just something they just took from Marvel. Like they're like, if they're gonna do it, then we're gonna do it as well. So
sounds like a bit of a ploy to like try and get a bit of limelight in their own.
Well, they've been trying to play catch up. Like, so they made Man of Steel, and it was like, yeah, it's all right. And then they tried to speed it up with Batman v Superman, which
God, I've not watched it, but I know how many people hate it.
It's to me, it's not the worst thing I've seen, but it's definitely not good. It's got so many problems.
Would you basically say Suicide Squad was actually a little bit better at least?
No, the Suicide not the Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad that came out in 2016. That's a piece of shit.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I won't lie. It was funny.
I couldn't stand it.
It was horrendous.
You just had
fangirled over that film, and I was like, "Why?"
It's awful. In
cinema. I was like,
and then you're just watching Jared Leto just mugging the camera as a Joker. It's like, just no.
You literally look like you had the blood drain from your face when I said that I like Suicide Squad.
I think I just blocked it. Went, yeah, cool. Anyways,
he's like, okay, that was a thing. Now this.
But no, so I think definitely Wonder Woman is nowhere near it's nowhere bad. Like, some people have said it's actually bad, and I'm like, nah, it's not even close.
It's probably my favorite DC film, to be fair. I mean, Wonder Woman 1 was incredible.
I'd
definitely say that Wonder Woman, both those films are my favorite DC films by far. But going by the bigger picture of what DC movies they've actually brought out, it's not saying much.
So I also enjoyed Shazam, which I genuinely enjoyed. I thought it was great fun, and I kind of enjoyed Aquaman. It does have its little bit problems, but you know what, I had fun with it. So interested to see what they're going with the second one, if a certain someone keeps their job after a certain thing. So I you know what, I'm glad to have seen Wonder Woman 1984. I'd probably give it a solid 3 out of 5. It's really enjoyable. Check it out if you are a fan of the character or DC films, or just want to see something in the cinema.
I heard Gal Gadot was on the One Show early in the week, I think. Talking about the film as well.
I think I don't think I've seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's I'm just interested what Patty Jenkins is going to do, because she's now going to do a Cleopatra film with Gal Gadot, and
really?
and then she's also it's just been revealed she's going to direct Rogue Squadron, the one of the Star Wars movies that are going to come out. So that's cool. It's like,
isn't that what the name of the game that's just come out? Or is
it was a series of Star Wars games where you flew the X-Wings or the TIE fighters and all that. So it's basically going to be like Top Gun but in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. Like, I really do like Patty Jenkins. Like, ever since I saw her first directorial debut with Monster with Charlize Theron.
Monster was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. So, and the fact that she made that first film, and then all those years later, then her second film was Wonder Woman, and it's just, she's such a talent. So
she's definitely pushed the envelope.
Well, she made history as like the first female filmmaker to release a tentpole film with the first Wonder Woman movie. So it's a bit ridiculous that it's taken this long for, and it's just like, obviously Wonder Woman was just kind of like a refreshing, a refreshing sort of take of the superhero genre, because obviously many films based on female characters and in comic books were just utter tripe. And
I mean, we're now going to have our obviously we're going to have Black Widow coming out next year now, and we're also going to get Miss Marvel as well, aren't we?
Yeah, so we're gonna get Black Widow next year. Miss Marvel's coming out on Disney Plus, or is that gonna be a film?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Disney
It was
Plus.
Disney Plus.
Okay, yeah. So, but there's even talks about there's potentially they're going to release Black Widow on simultaneously on cinemas and Disney Plus.
I think we'll probably end up talking probably a bit more in depth about the announcements from the Marvel universe that's happening in the next year or so, because there's so much content coming out. I think there's like 40 or 50 different things coming out on Disney Plus next year.
They literally just came out with all the next films and TV shows, and also the Star Wars, like, you know.
Yeah, if you didn't think they could shit out that much already, they're going to shit out another 6-7 shows in the next year or two.
I don't know. I just looked at the roster
Quality
for MCU. Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, Wonder Woman is like Tenet. Like, I'm glad I went to see it in the cinema. Because God knows that, you know, we need some sort of support to the cinemas and the big screen experience. And obviously we won't get affected with the whole issue with Warner Brothers and HBO Max. That's more of a American thing, an issue with it in America. Yeah. So, well, speaking of DC related, there's now a release date for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that's going to come out in March next year.
Brilliant.
So in 3 months' time.
Straight to HBO?
Well, it's going to go HBO Max in 4 1-hour episodes, and I think that it will come out on Sky, because they released a lot of the HBO Max, including Raised by Wolves, which was made for HBO Max, and it came out in Sky in over here in the UK.
That's good.
So yeah. So yeah, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, then we'll dive in a bit of Tyler here and get to know a bit more. Hello and welcome back to the episode. So we talked about various things, from the Wonder Woman 1984 to Cyberpunk, and now we're going to talk about our special guest, which is Tyler here. So I'm going to pass him to the floor. So take it from here.
Hi guys, my name's Tyler Winchcome. I've been modelling for about the last 8 years, and about 3 years ago, I secured a role in an advert for Cornerstone Razors, and since then, I decided to jump into acting more than modelling. Put the modelling in the back seat, and yeah, I'm enjoying things a lot better. I mean, I love modelling. I love being able to show off great new brands around the world and people's idea of fashion, but nothing really gets me going more than being in front of a camera and, you know, portraying a character and creating emotion through film. Over the last year through COVID, I've actually started to write my own material, and hopefully we'll have my first short film made early next year. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So obviously, so you started with modeling. So what got you into modeling in the first place? So how did that come about, basically?
So when I got into college, I decided to join the gym because, you know, I really wanted to beef myself up, and I was sick of being pushed around from my earlier years, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and do something about it. A couple of years later, well, a year later from then, my mum got a photo shoot done, and she had about 10 prints for herself, and I thought, oh, that seems pretty interesting. And a year later, I decided to do one myself. A few friends had said, oh, why don't you get into modeling and that? So yeah, I decided to jump in, and got a photo shoot with a company called Lux Models in London. They overcharged me by miles.
Oh man.
And I'd heard horror stories about this sort of thing, but you never really think it's going to happen to you. And it did. I got caught up with all that, but I saw it as a positive. I used the photos to benefit my career. And after that, I promised myself I'd never pay for a photo shoot again. And the last 8 years, I'd never have. And then, yeah, skip forward so many years, and yeah, I'm acting.
Sure. Yeah. So obviously, when you got that gig on the advert, so obviously, was that? How did you get? Did you get it through like a website, or was it through Instagram, or how did you get contact about that? And so yeah, how did you get contact like that?
So it was an agency I used to be part of. Around 3 years ago. Well, 4 years ago, I joined the agency, and then throughout that year, they got me several different castings, and most of them were for modelling, but this one just happened to be an acting gig. I didn't actually realise it was going to be. I thought it was for stills. Turned up that day, and there was a film crew and a setup for a bathroom, and they said, "Oh, basically, you're going to be acting with a camera about 10 centimeters away from your face, just telling us about your life."
Yeah,
and I just remember getting in front of that camera, and I didn't feel nervous or anything. And it just flowed, and that's when I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And did you think that the like modeling from beforehand like kind of helped like kind of ease into it? Because it's to be honest, like, it's not been that much different from a photography camera to a film camera. Like, was that something that you did? That do you think that helped at all?
Oh, definitely. I think if you're ever going to get into acting, being a model beforehand does help you so much, because the fact that you've got a guy behind a camera, it doesn't matter if it's a DSLR or a Blackmagic camera, you're in front of a camera, that's it, and you're being directed like a photographer would do for a model. The only thing with filming is there's a lot more cast and crew and extras and other cast around you also watching your performance. So I think modeling definitely did give me the confidence without me even realizing.
Yeah. And also going from there, so when you walked away from that and then you thought like, oh my God, like this kind of opened a whole new sort of thing about that. So what was the next step after that? You know, where did you go from there?
So shortly after that, I didn't really realize what to do. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anything about the acting game. I grew up, I did love cinema. I loved films, but not in the way I love it now. And you know, I didn't realize where to go from there. So not long after that, I ended up working in London Bridge, and the car park I parked my van in to go scope some work in Santander, which was a week before the London bombings.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I saw a film crew and a load of trailers inside this car park, and people with high vises reading Mad Dog and Casting Collective. And I just thought, okay, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I went up to one of them and I said, "Oh, how'd you get into all this acting game?" He goes, "Well, we're actually an extras agency, but if you sign up to this on my back," and he had the website on their back, as long as, you know, you're punctual and you have a lot of time on your hands, you know, we'd be more than happy to take you on. But yeah, contact these guys. Next thing you know, I signed up to Casting Collective and Mad Dog, and the first year was really quiet. I'm not going to lie. I got on with a lot of other things. I kept my modelling game strong. And next thing you know, I had a casting for Mad Dog for this, the series Mother, Father, Son, and Wonder Woman.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Things just went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah. So obviously then you now have got you're slowly kind of having the experience on working on a sort of a professional like TV series and a film production. So you know, what was it that like when you're on set, like when you first came onto the set, were you kind of taken back by it, or was it just on a similar sort of, you know, what you expected from that? You know, what was your intake about when you first got onto an actual production set? Like, you know, was it quite a jump from what you started and then to this?
Okay, I think with Cornerstone Razors, I had a small film crew, but when you go to somewhere like Wonder Woman, you have a bigger film crew and a bigger stage and a bigger lighting rig and a bigger camera, and just things are scaled up slightly. And the thing is, all you've just got to do is put what you've learned from the small experience into the big experience. And I'd heard before, you go on TV sets, obviously don't go fanboy and over the actors. Don't do anything that you think is going to jeopardize the production. And act as though you are there as the lead actor. You are there to create a film, because whether you're background artist or you're the lead, you are making the film. Background artists have been known in the past to ruin productions, and they've made a production a laughing stock because someone's got their flies down, or someone's taken out the lead actor while all the bombs are going off.
Oh God.
Well, not in that experience. That actually worked out pretty well.
So what the experience? Yeah. So Tyler and I have actually worked together on a few productions, and it started on 1917, which is funny enough that we both went to the final audition. That we had to do various sort of training regimes, like, you know, running through a field in different speeds and this and that. And I kind of felt bad because I got the job and then Tyler didn't get it. But then funny enough, when it got to block 3, which is the scene where we all run over to the top, I saw Tyler just sitting down on, you know, the makeup chair. I was like, hey, like, but then I heard that, you know, so many people just kind of, you know, either dropped out, either boredom or sunstroke or numerous reasons, like, sort of thing. So, and, you know, it was quite an experience, like seeing each production work in different ways. So I'm guessing for you as much as for me, that you get to see how everything is run, and it's the same principle. But it's interesting how, say, like a film is supposed to be shot as a continuous take, whereas a regular any other production, it can do, like, you know, numerous takes on one angle and then another from another angle, etc., etc. So it's like you're trying to, you know, gain all this knowledge. Like, you know, for me at least, like, this is my acting / you know, filmmaking sort of school, as it were, for me at least. And I don't know how you feel about it when you go on each and different set. Like, are you learning things differently as you go along?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's so much terminology to be learned. I mean, you're not going to learn it on one set or 10 sets. You learn as you go. I mean, there's going to be something in a few years that I'm going to hear that I'm like, whoa, I never knew about that. It's because you open your ears to your surroundings. Even though you're portraying this character, you're acting in the scene, you're still taking in small bits of information as you're doing so. And you know, the more sets you go on, you learn how this team works. You learn how that team works, and what gets the job done better. I mean, as you know, with 1917, you had the best in the business. You had Sam Mendes, Roger Deakins in this film. And, you know, to have the two people, you know, Oscar winners who are at the top of their games, you know that the film's in good hands. And to see something like that run the way it did was a real masterclass in this industry. And it's something that we'll never be able to rewatch or relearn, and hearing everything going on behind the scenes. The behind the scenes on the DVD shows you a fleck of what we saw behind the scenes.
It does feel like it was only just scratching the surface. Like, it was the first time for me to watch behind the scenes and can understand what they were talking about in a way. But whereas, you know, obviously we had first-hand experience, like, you know, working on a set, because we worked on it for almost a week. And, you know, and it's so for them to talk about their experiences, like, it is quite informative. But it's just weird that we had to tell our friends and family, was that, you know, working on that set was just a whole sort of thing. Like, it was sort of like you had to be there to know what was going on.
Yeah, no matter how we explain it, no matter how we try to describe what happened, you feel like you're underselling it. Underselling, that's the word, sorry. You're underselling what you're doing. But if they could see what you saw, it's like, wow, you can understand the excitement of when we go to see this film. And the same with Wonder Woman, watching that film, to know what goes on behind the scenes is incredible. I mean, you have so much more of appreciation. Even if you may not like a production, you can understand the craft that's gone on in the background to make that get to where it has to get onto your screen. It's amazing.
Yeah. So going back to the acting, but so you've done a couple of short films recently. So how's that experience like? Because you're obviously working as an extra is one thing, but obviously being a supporting actor or even maybe even a leading actor is you have to learn like lines, you have to know your marks and this and that. So how's that experience been for you, like since you've been doing more and more short films?
Well, I find with the learning lines aspect of it, you sort of learn different methods as you go. For each production, you may try something different before you find that one technique that works for you. I find trying not to worry about it too much. When you've got a script, learn it for 10 minutes, read it, go away and do something else. Go about your day. Don't even think about it. Come back later, reread it. And I found that works for me the best. When it comes to being the lead or the supporting role, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders because you are what brings this film to life. But it also makes you feel, okay, well, it's not going to happen with me panicking. So you have to get into the role. You have to picture how this person would be in real life. You have to sort of go around. You have to method it, really. You have to become the character on the outside. And I've fiddled around with a few different ways of becoming characters, and I think I've cracked it now. But in the future, I'll probably look back and be like, well, yeah, you're chatting shit. That didn't work at all.
Well, you just feel like you just feel like you still got a lot to learn, and you just feel like you're not really quite at your peak. But obviously, it's better than not doing anything at all. Like as you're learning,
we're always learning. Yeah, I think even the greats are always learning something, and every day. And the more I do, the more comfortable I'm feeling. I mean, I'm not uncomfortable when I'm on set, but at first you may not be doing a good job, but you start to realize I'm doing my job, whether people like it or not. I'm here and I'm enjoying myself while I feel I'm doing a great job. And you watch yourself afterwards. Okay, I did this, great. You criticizing, you do criticize yourself. You become your own worst critic.
Of course,
but
yeah.
I feel that makes us grow. As soon as I stop criticizing myself is the day I become an arrogant asshole. It's when you think everything's perfect that you do, you're never going to be perfect. You can just stride towards it and hope you hit the mark.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just like, so like, what are you sort of so you're going to be going to acting school starting next year, aren't you? So what are you hoping, what are you kind of hoping to achieve after you've finished it? So like it's only going on for about, was it 4 months, roughly like that?
So it's January. It's January through to April. It's a part-time course in person on Tuesdays and Fridays. And I'm hoping that it helps me gain some contacts, and also to learn things that I don't even know are there. Things that I can come out of the school and be like, wow, if I never went there, I wouldn't realize this, I wouldn't realize that. And just like on films, you're constantly learning. And I think in this school, it's going to really be quite a masterclass on, quite like yourself. Whenever I talk to you, you seem to know a hell of a lot about movies, a lot about how it got to where it is, about the movie, about the actors, about the directors, where they were born, what their favorite food is. And I'm hoping this school does help me along with that. It helps me to know a lot more in depth about what goes into filmmaking and the art of acting. So, and I think to feel that I don't need acting school, it's quite naive, really. It's like, well, everyone needs some help along the way. And I think I've gotten to that point where I deserve to be in an acting school, and I deserve to progress in my career.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned about working on a script during lockdown. So obviously you don't have to talk about any specifics. So what kind of compelled you to write a script in the first place?
You know what? I never fancied myself as a writer. I always looked at books and thought, who the hell would want to sit in their room for weeks and months and years writing a book, a novel, or a script? I could never understand it until I put pen to paper or fingered a keyboard in my and I did it and the first page, and then the script wrote itself. Once I had the first page written, the script wrote itself, and I was like, wow, this it's really showed how being an actor has changed my mindset on writing. It makes you want to try out the whole industry. It doesn't make you just want to act. It makes you want to be a director, a writer, a producer. It makes you want to work up the ladder. And I think that's just what got me into it. I had all this spare time, and I was like, well, how can I make it productive? I know, I'll write a script.
Yeah, and you almost finished with the script, so you're at the moment in your casting. So what things are you learning from this? Like, is there any like positives or negatives about the process of making a film? Like, is there like, oh Jesus Christ, like, kill me now? Like,
I'm learning. I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for casting directors. I mean, I've had some awesome submissions, like incredible submissions. But there are certain parts of their submission that I'll nitpick, and I'll be like, okay, that's great, but this could do with a bit more work. Or, something like in the background, I quite like to have a white background, plain white background, or a plain grey background.
Oh.
But if they were to have too much loudness in the background, but they put on a perfect performance, I'd sort of see through that. I'd be totally captivated in the character, and I'd be like, okay, the background doesn't matter. All I can see is them in the film. And I don't know. I think from the forefront, when you're looking at it, if you see someone in a tatty background, you think, okay, this isn't going to go very well. They haven't really put themselves out for this casting. And also, some didn't even learn the lines. It was literally, there's 4 lines of dialogue, and they're getting certain words wrong, or they're pausing at certain moments. I'm like, with a self-tape, you can stop, you can go back, you can rewind, you can cut, you can edit, you can do it as many times as you need. And I had a 20-day deadline. It wasn't as if I needed it that night. I felt a few people did rush the process, and it made me feel it made me feel what these casting directors who get thousands of entries, thousands of audition tapes to sit through, what they must go through. So for the majority, a lot of them were great, and I applaud the people, whoever sent me the auditions, to have the guts to be able to send an audition tape can be quite nerving sometimes. So congratulations to everyone, but there are a few that I have something to say about.
Oh man, like I've come across some very arrogant sort of actors, like during my sort of casting on the short film I'm trying to get started, and you just kind of like who the hell do you think you are? Like, you're not anyone famous. Like, you just kind of like, you're like everybody else. Like, okay, you may have got a bit more work than everybody, but like, you gotta have to treat it like you're just like you're still a nobody, and you want to get as much work as you need. And for you to act like you know it all, it's like, well, I don't need you then, so bye. Like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember telling you before, I had this one guy who said to me, a self-tape doesn't work for me because I don't have anyone else to read out the other part in the script. I was like, okay, the other 70, 80, 90 people managed to do it. I know it's COVID, but the thing is we have this thing called Zoom where you can have the audio come through, or someone can send you a voice note through WhatsApp. That's what I've done with casting applications before, where I've had to send a self-tape. I've had someone read the lines, through WhatsApp voice note, and I can just read in between those lines. And I said to him, well, this is the way it is, I'm sorry. And he goes, can you do a live Zoom chat with me so I can audition in front of you and you read for me? I'm like, as if I'm not busy enough trying to make this film and cast for it. You wanted me to bend over backwards to, attend to your needs.
Get the special treatment. Yeah.
And I was like, who's this guy I think he is?
Yeah, like you're not Robert fucking De Niro or anything like that. So it's just, I mean, I understand like people work differently, but for you to say it's like, it doesn't work out that way, it's like, it can work either way, mate. Like for you to say it only works a specific way, i.e. you want it to work it the way that you want it to work it. It's like it doesn't revolve around you, mate. So yeah, I can't stand those type of people. I'm like the same. I had somebody who I put a casting out and I had the script attached so they could, read it and find out what it's about, etc. And then the guy said to me, what is it about? And I even said to them, like, well, I've got the script attached, but I guess to save time, it's about this and this and this. And he goes, so what does this scene entail? And I went, well, again, if you read the script, then it does contain this and this. Didn't say anything after that. And I went, a week later, I said to them, I presume you're no longer interested. And you went, yeah, you're right. My bad, or something like that. I was like, Jesus Christ. And so yeah, it was just a bit like I guess you just have to it's just the fact that you just have to deal with these sort of people like in and out, and like you said, like there's some people that you just have to just blow them off and just keep moving forward, and that's the way it is. So.
And you have to be ruthless with it. I mean, I've had a few people ask me, like, I'm going into the writing game, I'm about to cast, can you give me advice? I just say to them, look, be ruthless, because the thing is, people are going to want to take advantage, they're going to want to get that role, and you're going to have to make some tough decisions. But the thing is it's either you want your perfect film, you're going to cast the perfect role for it, who you envisage as that character, or you're just going to go with someone who you feel a bit sorry for, and you're going to give them the role, and the film's going to be a piece of shit to this person who's never spent a day on set. And it's like, I'm sick of these people. You think you're entitled to this role, you think you're entitled in this industry to be able to go around and say, well, I deserve this role, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, well, you're not proving it so far.
No.
Yeah, I think it is tough. You do have tough decisions, but when it comes to just random people just expecting the world off of you, it's not the way it works. It's not the way it works at all.
And I think it's obviously going from modeling and acting, and now you're going to filmmaking. You're slowly making like tougher and tougher decisions in different aspects. Like you have to go, like if you're given a few options of roles, like which one do I go for, which is going to benefit me? And then with the filmmaking side of things, like who do I go for? Do I go for the one that I generally do feel that he or she or they will make the best result, or do I go with someone who I can't, like you said, you kind of feel sorry for, you want to give them a chance, even though you're not really 100% on it. It's just, there's so many things that could either go right or go wrong, and making those tough choices is so stressful in my experience. And you're just hoping things will work out, because as soon as you start rolling, you have to make it work somehow. And if it doesn't, then it's just going to cost more money and more time. And
it's money exactly over this last year, especially money wise. I mean, it's not something to play around with. I mean, a lot of people don't have the funds to be able to, pay for another day, because the actor doesn't know anything about what being on a set is like, and they end up kicking up a fuss. And I mean, in these big movies, you're talking 3,000 a minute to record, to film, and you've got these people messing around. That's what we were saying earlier about Tom Cruise going mad. You're talking 3,000 a minute, and just for these guys to, fuck up the production.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if you've had it, but I don't know, when you were casting, did you have random people saying, oh, can you send me the script so I can read what the movie's about before I portray this role, because I want to get into character? I'm like, well, I don't just go sending scripts out willy-nilly.
No, I did. Well, obviously, because I had a casting and then I had the script there. So obviously I wanted to, like, I was totally fine with them reading the script, but it's kind of like, as long as they read the part that they are applying for. But I did have actors, like, obviously you put certain guidelines of who to apply for. So you specifically say, I'm okay to people from the UK, they can either be either ethnicities or either, you know, Asian, Black, Indian, white, whatever. But then you get people. I had one. I was casting a character where, like, it's a male, but I had a female actress applying for it. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, and I said to them, like, I just did be polite, obviously. I was like to them, I'm really sorry, but, you know, the character is male. That's what I'm looking for. So unfortunately, you don't really fit the description I'm looking for. So that's
Exactly
that sort of things.
Hello, yes, guys, I'm back. Hello.
And Josh is back. So, so what we've been talking about is, you know, experiencing on starting from modeling and then acting, and then now he's done a bit of filmmaking, writing a script, and then learning these sort of experiences from different aspects, from, you know, making really tough decisions, like as he's doing the casting process and dealing with, you know, really irritating circumstances, like
as well. I don't know if I said, there are people that have messaged me who have seemed so keen to be in this role, and they haven't been the cast. Well, they haven't. I've put out a couple of cast types. One was a rotund male, 45 to 55, and one was a slim girl, 25 to 35. And this person was nothing like what I put down in the casting, and I thought, you know what, it seems so keen. I'm gonna give him a shot. I still haven't heard back from him, and that was 4 weeks ago. They seemed so keen, and I gave him a chance. I said, well, look, I'm not one to change the cast type what I've gone for here, but you seem keen, so we'll go for this. And nothing since.
It's well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's just any type of casting, whether it's, you know, for models or actors or anything like that. You just, if they're not going to be as enthusiastic or motivated to give their 100% on it, then it's just like, just keep moving forward. There's just no time for it. Like, it's just a waste of time. And it's the same with people who have just been so rude. Like, you just don't have time for that. And so, yeah, it's
no, exactly.
So yeah, that's the only way that you have to do it. And I'm sure, like, Josh, when you're about casting, like, do you have to deal with some unnecessary people when setting things up?
I guess it really depends. Like, for me, when, like, I'm doing shooting with, like, portrait photography models and everything like that, like, sometimes we'll put out, like, a call in, like, asking if there's anyone available to shoot. And, like, sometimes you get people who, like, maybe don't really fit your style or fit your look, and, like, they're very keen, if you like, but the problem is you don't know how to let them down nicely. So sometimes for me, and this is the cruelest part of it, and I think I've said this before in even one of our episodes or my other podcasts that I've done, the Get the Shot podcast, is that, like, I've just basically just not said anything at all, just to, like, respectfully just say, you didn't get to my inbox. That's the way it is, unfortunately. And I don't know, I just, like, there's people who have a look that I'm looking for, that I'm okay with. But then there are people who are, like, maybe sometimes I might even give them my rates, because, like, I just don't feel like it's something that benefits me as much as it will benefit them.
Yeah, sure.
People hate it when you put the rates card on them, don't they? They're just like,
they leave you on red.
Model. I shouldn't have to pay for anything.
Yeah, I've always, every time I ask for a photographer, like, I can say to them, like, you don't have to pay me as long as you cover my travel expenses. And even that, it's like, they go, no, like, that's it.
Yeah, it scares them off. Especially as well when you have an agent. If you've ever played the agent card before,
no,
people just do not you back.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Lag moment there. Don't know what's going on there.
No.
He'll come back in a second.
Tyler will come back out of the ethos of the internet shortly.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There he is. He's back.
And he's back.
Which is what happened there.
Still hear everything.
21st century. Is it 21st century?
Yeah, 21st century technology. Yeah.
Yeah. 21st century technology.
Happy days. Happy
Anyway,
days.
sorry. So you were talking about playing the agency card.
Yeah, I find with agencies, when you have an agent and someone tries to message you to either be an actor for their production or to model for them, they do not message back. I've found that a lot of times. I think it's because of the fact that they have to pay a little bit extra to pay the commission for the agent, or they think that the work's just going to go through the agency. But the way I've sort of worked it is, if someone was to approach you with say a short bit of work, which was like, okay, say £30, £50 or something, there's no need to involve your agent. And even agencies' contracts state that under £100, you're not obligated to pay the agency as part of your earnings. So yeah, people do get photographers and filmmakers do get scared when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, there is a bit of a sort of like, not, I don't know if the word is right, is dilemma, but there's like the sort of this like maybe a facade like that, like you kind of like look on either side of like of the world of like photographers like and models wanting to work together, and like there are people who like get annoyed at people who do TFP, which for those who don't know is time for print, which is an old way of basically saying let's collab and me and you can benefit kind of thing. But people say that like doing too much of that actually ruins the industry, but I argue that like not everybody, anyone who's not doing it for pay is not exactly doing it because like people do it for a hobby. Like I do portrait photography for a hobby, and I don't really find much way in the fact that like I need to charge everyone that I work with. Like I work with people that, and then I end up helping them maybe progressing their career, and then maybe they get paid work. Like for me, I have a day job which satisfies me. Like, and I feel like if I was to take on certain types of paid work, it wouldn't be as fun for me. Like it's part of the reason why I stick to what I know. And if there's something that comes my way that I feel more confident in saying, okay, yeah, let's do this, and it'll be paid, and maybe there's some like, you know, sponsored potential and everything like that, then fair enough. I mean, I used to run a page called London Enthusiast it's been about 2 years now since it stopped, I think. Actually, no, maybe more like a year and a bit now since I stopped it, and I've run that for about 4 or 5 years. And we worked with a plethora of companies. We've worked with Samsung. We worked with once or twice with Sony. And we worked with Huawei as well. And the last deal that we worked on was Samsung, but the one just before that was with Airbnb when they launched Airbnb experiences. So we did an experience with a Soho photographer in London, basically like going around the streets, taking photography photos. So we was tasked, me and another team member at the time, to basically take photos of different things going on within the experience, where we went, what we did. So like if my friend took a photo, I'd take a photo of her taking the photo and vice versa. And they absolutely loved it. They did. And they worked with us again on another project after that, in terms of like, you know, what things we can offer to our subscribers, well, you know, not subscribers, but like followers of London, essentially.
That's cool. Yeah. And it's,
That's
you know,
really
and so obviously, you know, going from modeling and acting and filmmaking, it's like you must have like sort of a plethora of, you know, different networks, like, you know, that you could get in hold of. Like, I mean, for me, like guessing going on the portrait mission last year in September, like I got to know Josh and Amy, who's also under the name of @Fooders on Instagram. Like she's going to be my photographer on the set, so when we do the making of, like she's really interested on being, you know, the behind the scenes photographer. So it's sort of like that. So, you know, do you find that really useful to have? Like, so say like down the line, you'd be like, oh, I know this person.
Yeah.
And so is that something that you sort of thinking about as you're making it, or?
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, the way I kind of built up my rappall, you could say, is that the London Enthusiast page I started for years, doing that back in like when featured pages were starting to become a thing. I gained my a lot of my friends through the London scene through that. And then when I transitioned into being a portrait photographer, I brought my focus back up towards the Midlands, found people in the Midlands, created friends here, created community presence here essentially. So I had two areas of the country that I was present in. I mean, I'm now present up in the East Midlands a bit more now with like Nottingham and Leicester, those areas. But when I just came across like the start of my portrait portraiture photography journey, I sought out the idea of starting a feature hub for portraits. And I mean, there'd been a few portrait pages before that, but like something that just made me more than excited was just like the fact that like I could find talent through that as well, not just for myself, but like also like open up avenues for other photographers. I mean, right now we're running a competition where you can edit some of our team and another portrait pages photos right now. I know you've taken a stab at some edits probably yourself in the previous one that we did, right, Owen?
Yeah, I did the first set, and I was going to do for this one, but it's just loads of things I was just like, I'm just too busy to kind of focus on. So, but I think it's a really cool thing to do. And I'm sure the same thing with you, Tyler, that you obviously, again, you going from modeling and acting and filmmaking, it's like having, different people to sort of got on your contact list at least. And then just think like, and later on you can go, I can use this photographer to do this and this and that. So it's like, are you learning from other people what they're doing? Like, are you seeing what I'm doing and maybe taking note from that? Or are you just doing what you think is right for you?
I think everyone who I've kept in contact with or who I've met over the past, who I've worked with multiple times, a bit of photographer or a filmmaker, I've learned something from each and every one of them, be it small, be it big. I've always learned something, and I'll always keep them in contact no matter what I'm doing. I'll always keep the people who have been close and bothered in the past in contact, and it's always good to keep those people because you find so many fakes in this industry. You find so many people who just want to be with you because we've seen a glimpse of fame, I could get a bit of that, and they start asking you for things. But I found the people that I've trusted and worked with, they never asked me for a thing. They've never asked me for anything. They've said, take a crack at the casting. They've never been like, give me the role, but people who I've not known for 5 seconds are like, I deserve this role. Well, I've not even casted someone who I'm really close with as this because they don't suit the bill, let alone yourself who doesn't suit the bill, as well as I don't know what your acting skills like. I don't know what your experience is like. Prove it to me before I give you my money to feature in my film.
You could kind of say it's that case that like you don't owe anything to your friends, but at the same time they don't owe anything to you either. Like it's the case of scenario that like I mean, for many years people used to say to me, mates rates and everything like that. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the case that if the friend really wants to support you, they'll pay whatever you're asking for. It's that kind of thing. It's like you should never expect something out of someone for a week, 2 weeks, or 2 years. That kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I felt like when you, Tyler, when you asked like just to help each other, it's sort of like who like the people that really want to support you would say, if I help you with this, it's like if you help me with this, I can easily help you. It's just kind of like I scratch your back, you scratch yours sort of thing. And
it's not even for that though, is it? It's not even for the fact of I'm going to help you so you can help me in the future.
No, it's
I'll
not
always
like
help you and you always help me. Exactly. We all
it's
just
been
help
grateful
each other.
that you're just friends on that basis.
It's sort of like, it's not like, I've helped you, now you help me sort of thing. It's not nothing like that. It's sort of like, I'm, it's kind of like, either way, I'm more than willing to help you. But it would, if you want to offer me help or anything like that, then that'll be cool. That sort of thing. It's just that support, and in this, photography, filmmaking, acting, and modeling, it's such a cutthroat industry that it's tiring to see people do that, and you just go like, each person's pathway is different to everyone, so not everyone can get the same success journey as the next person is, so why bother fighting for it? I don't know. So
exactly. And as you were saying before, Josh, about the paying for your friends' services and mates rates, recently I've gotten a Christmas present for a family member from my friend Laura Donahoe. Laura Donahoe Art is her Instagram, by the way, shout out. And she basically paints through her tablet pictures that you send her, and I've sent her a couple photos of my dogs, and she's made beautiful paintings on her tablet, and she's sending them through for Christmas. And she gave me a price list, and to me, I think I was like, I want to pay more. I don't want you to, if you dare say to me mates rates, honestly, I just think you've put so many hours into this craft. You're a small business. I want to pay you what I feel this is worth. And I felt she was underselling what she had. And I'd happily pay more. And there she asked me to pay a discounted rate.
Well, I think it's just a bit that,
out.
I mean, I think it's that they probably think that that at the very least, just spread the word out, pay me what you think I'm owed or whatever. But at the very least, I at least I got to work on something that I enjoyed, and to give it to someone who's going to appreciate it, and then they're going to give word out. And then I know it's the whole thing where exposure is not going to feed people.
No, it's like that. It's that meme
there's a
where
level
it's like
where
PayPal and exposure. Like, yeah,
you have to find a fine line to you get exposure, but also get paid at the rate that you're good at, basically. So
yeah, you kind of just, it's an understanding on either end, and that's one of the things that really upholds the industries. Whether you're in the film industry or photography, it really kind of holds up for many creative directions, to be honest. So, I mean, yeah, I think that might be a good place to end the conversation. But
yeah, absolutely.
I'll say I obviously wasn't able to be around for the first part of this last part of the episode. I had to rush away for my food. So I still let these creative let these two creative minds still gel it out, and obviously talk about obviously Tyler and obviously what he's been up to in the industry. Obviously, because you two being actors, knowing all this stuff, it's a good conversation to keep flowing and not end on.
No, for sure. And also, so hopefully we'll make a separate episode, like a Christmas themed episode, like we did with the Halloween episode. So yeah, like we'll maybe get a group of people, talk about our Christmas movies and stuff like that, and yeah, just have fun. Yeah
always part of fun. It's one of the things why we love doing this podcast. It's not for any gain, it's for just a few laughs, a few bants, and like if anyone enjoys it, then fab. It's a good volume for a voicing platform for us to gel it out and chat, not just talk over text every day, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And especially during this year, definitely, that we need more that connection.
Exactly.
More than anything, so
yeah, we'd like to thank you very much all for listening to this episode. I'd like to obviously extend it out, of course, I'm sure the same for Owun, to say thank you very much, Tyler, for coming on the episode and joining us today. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.
Definitely have you back on again at some point. I'll say there might be a big story coming up in the next few weeks about movies or something like that, or even games. Cyberpunk again, maybe. I don't know. Have a chat about that and go a bit more in depth. Maybe talk about other subjects of the like. But yeah, I'll say where can everyone find you on Instagram?
It's Tyler_Winchcombe.
Brilliant.
If you can spell that last name.
I'm sure we'll have it in the show notes so people can have a bit more easiness trying to find you.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. And of course, I've been one of your hosts, Josh Deakin, at Mr. Josh Deakin.
And I'm Owun Burkett at Owun.Burkett.
And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. And we'll see you now after Christmas for our Christmas special. Well, sort of after Christmas-ish special. So yeah, have a very Merry Christmas and we'll see you all soon. And don't forget to wear a mask always.
Yes, stay safe.
And wear a mask. Take care and goodbye.
See you then.